Patrick Black is the CEO and founder of Perfect Imprints in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, home to many large and small businesses. He started Perfect Imprints in 1999 and has continued to provide quality promotional items and marketing services ever since. Patrick, thanks so much for being here with us today. So there are a lot of misconstrued ideas about the promotional industry. Can you explain what we do for those who don't know?
Sure, I'd love to talk on that. So just a basic overview of the industry, we have distributors, which is what Perfect Imprints is, and then we have suppliers. And as the name indicates, suppliers supply the distributors, and then distributors sell to the end users. And so just with the industry, there are about 30,000 distributors in this industry and probably about 3,500 suppliers. And the thing is, all distributors buy from the same suppliers. And so one of the common things that happen is one of our customers will call us, they're looking for a specific item, and that item might happen to be out of stock. And so we let them know that's out of stock, and they say, oh, that's okay, we'll just try some other companies. And that's the point that we step in and we try to educate them. We try to say, well, if it's out of stock for us, it's out of stock for everyone. So we could really save you hours of searching online to get the same answer, because I think a lot of customers think that we keep inventory of all of the items right here in our office. Mm-hmm. And with probably around 1 million different SKUs, unique SKU numbers, that's impossible. Not even Amazon could hold that many products.
What is the biggest setback for the promotional product industry, and how do some of these misconceptions affect your business?
I would think one of the biggest issues would be there are quite a few distributors out there that sell at a really cheap price. And with that cheap price, they match it with a cheap service. Mm-hmm. And so it's real common for us to get calls and be like, hey, we found this item at this price, will you match it? And my go-to question is, do you also want us to match the service? And most people, of course, they don't. They want the cheap price and they want the great service. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things you can't really have both, because we have to pay quality people, employees, right. and it's all about experience. It's about expertise, and we really focus on the quality and being experts in our field. Mm-hmm. And so, like for me, for instance, I don't have some of the talents that we need for Perfect Imprints to run, so I hire talented people in that area. They complement my weaknesses, and together we make a good, solid team that has that expertise and can deliver good products, at a fair price.
And so that's something that Perfect Imprints prides itself on, is quality products and quality service.
That's right.
Absolutely. How did you get into the promotional product industry?
Well, that could be a long answer, so I'll shorten that, and then maybe in the comments of this video we can reference another video that we've done that has a little bit of an extended answer. But just the basic answer is, in my former career I was a paramedic, and so I would work 24 hours on, I would work 48 hours off. And so in any given week I would be off 3 to 4 days per week. And anybody who knows me won't be surprised when I say I can't just sit around and be still, so I have to do something. And so I started Perfect Imprints as an e-commerce website back in 1999, and it picked up momentum over the years, and finally it was big enough to support my family, and now it supports other families of the team members that work here. But I would definitely say go watch that other video, and it'll explain the final straw of why I left a career as a paramedic, which I loved, mm-hmm. to come work full-time in the promotional products industry.
I think it's kind of nice that in either industry you're still helping people, which is awesome.
Yes.
What industries utilize promotional products the most?
Well, maybe the question is, what industries don't use promotional products? Because I can't think of one industry that does not use them. Uh-huh. But when you look at the main industries that buy, it's going to be, I mean, no surprise, it's going to be education, it's going to be government, it's going to be construction, it's going to be healthcare, banking and financial, nonprofit organizations. And so promotional products are everywhere. Every business uses them in some way.
Big or small, I'm assuming.
That's right, yes.
That's awesome. What is the furthest that you've gone to fill an order for a client or company?
Well, one that comes to mind was a couple of years ago for one of our long-term clients. It's a company in the Bahamas, and they had ordered a fairly good-sized order of beer buckets, and we had the order secured with our supplier. Everything was good. It was set to ship on a certain date to make it in time for their event, which was surrounding I have to be careful with the verbiage, a big football game. And about the day before these buckets just had to ship to make the deadline for shipping purposes, our supplier called us and said, hey, we're not going to be able to make the ship date, nonchalantly, just not going to be able to do it. And we're like, oh, but it has to ship this day. If not, it'll be late. It'll completely miss their event, and they don't need the items. And so one of our core values is to approach challenges with creativity.
Right.
And so it's time to start getting creative at this point. What are we going to do to solve this? And so we racked our brains. We explored all avenues, and one of the things that we came down to was, all right, 5 of us from Perfect Imprints, we're going to fly to Minnesota to the factory because the buckets were going to be ready like one day later than they needed to ship. And shipping to the Bahamas, we didn't have overnight options or anything like that, so that wasn't an option. But we did have time we could fly up there, 5 of us, to Minnesota. Each of us would get 10 boxes because that's the maximum that you can check on a plane. And then we would fly to the Bahamas and deliver the buckets, personally to the client and make it in time. And so that was our plan. And it was going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But overall, it was going to be worth it not to lose a long-term client.
Right.
And really, it was a better option than completely canceling the order and refunding the client. So our staff here was actually excited. Like, hey, we get to go to the Bahamas.
Heck yeah. We're just going to we're going to work remote for the week.
That's right, yeah. But we didn't stop there. We continued to look for other solutions, and right at the last minute, we did find another solution. We were able to, one day late when the buckets shipped, we were able to overnight them to Miami, and then we found a courier that took them by boat over to the Bahamas and delivered in time. So it was a much lower cost solution, I guess you'd say, as opposed to 5 of us flying and checking on 50. Check on that. It was going to be expensive, but we were willing to do that because it's important that we deliver on what we say we're going to deliver.
It's a little bit of a bittersweet moment. Like, you want to go to the Bahamas so bad, but
Oh yeah. I was excited. I love a trip, especially just an impromptu trip like that.
Yeah, absolutely. How big is the promotional product industry?
Well, let's see. The 2019, I want to say it was around 21 billion, and that's actually down. Well, actually, it's about 24 billion in 2019. Now, 2020 and 21, it did come down. No surprise there. We've had some tough years, but it's starting to come back up now. We're seeing a definite increase, and have no doubt it'll get back to the 24, 25 billion and beyond, because the industry has been growing almost every year, aside from those few years during COVID.
Right. Well, that's to be expected, because I feel like a lot of businesses, were struggling through those years.
Oh, yes.
Do you use promotional products in your own business?
Of course. We believe in what we sell. Like, here's an example right here with our logo. But yeah, so all over our office, we use them on a daily basis. Calendars, pens, notepads, tumblers, coffee mugs, mouse pads. they're everywhere.
The list goes on.
Yeah, it goes on and on. And we love to brand promotional items with our own logo and give out to our clients. And we practice what we preach. We believe in the items, we believe they work, and we want to show that by example.
Do you have any advice for those shopping for promotional products?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I would say when you're shopping for promotional products, it's best to be in a mindset that promotional products are an investment and not an expense. And what I mean by that is you can look at it like an office expense and you're just spending the money, and that means you're not looking for any return. But if you're strategic with your promotional items, if you buy the right high quality items, they're going to stick around for many years. Every time someone picks up their tumbler that has the logo on it from your company that you give them, they're going to be reminded, and that's top of mind awareness. Not to mention everyone around who sees that too. So in an office environment, we look at something called cost per impression. And so that's the cost for every person that sees that. And promotional products have one of the lowest cost per impressions. So for example, if you buy a t-shirt with your logo and some kind of advertisement on it and you spend $10, 1,000 people see that over its lifetime, that's 1 cent is the cost per impression. So it costs 1 cent for every person that sees that. And other forms of advertising, they don't even come close to that.
Right. And it's also nice because you actually have a product that is representing your company. So if you have a quality product, it goes to show that you provide a quality service when incorporated in your own business.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Given that you are the CEO and founder of Perfect Imprints, do you have any advice for entrepreneurs?
I would say for entrepreneurs that guard your advertising budget wisely. It's one of those budgets that you can spend so much money, you can spend all your money on advertising and find yourself with zero return if you spend it on the wrong medium. So one of the things I love about promotional items is their staying power. They stay around for years and years. The higher quality item you buy, the longer it stays around. So, I always suggest against like really cheap, low quality items because they're gonna go right to the trash. I don't want some cheap pen that's bleeding all over the place that doesn't write well. I'm gonna throw that out immediately, and you've just wasted your advertising money on me.
Right.
You give me a nicer pen, and by nicer, you may go from 50 cents to $1.
Okay.
So, it's still fairly inexpensive, but if it's a good pen and it writes well, I'm going to keep it for longer. I'm going to keep it for as long as it writes.
Right.
And I'm going to be reminded of your company every time. Other forms of some traditional advertising like TV, radio ads, you have to pay for that ad every time it runs. So once it runs, it's done and gone. People don't record commercials and watch them over and over and over again. Once they play, they're gone. You want them again, you pay again. A promotional item like, say, this tumbler, you pay for it once and it stays around and it sticks around and sticks around and it keeps paying for itself.
Right.
And so you have to be very careful in how you spend your money on advertising. Same with online advertising. You can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on online ads and not get any return if you're not doing it the right way. So make sure you have someone that knows what they're doing with advertising and will help you be strategic with your money.
Absolutely. That is great advice. Patrick, thank you so much for participating in our rapid fire questions.
Thank you.